Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, happy hump day as we roll into Wednesday with a winner from the Bolts last night, clunker from the Rays last night. Defense let them down big time, and the offense still struggling as well. But we're going to do it all again another time this week. Welcome into the JP Peterson Show as we got a great show for you once again today. Leo Haggerty is going to join us at 10:45. Former NFL scout, covers the Bucs. We'll be talking Bucs draft and NFC South draft and maybe where some of these quarterbacks are going, where this draft is going. Then we're going to talk to Rich Hollenberg at 11 o'clock, who, of course, covers the Rays for Bally Sports Sun. We'll be chatting with him about the Rays. And 11:15, Brian Bradley, former Light All-Star, join us to talk about our Bolts. But one thing is for sure, the Bolts have flipped this switch, and they are going to hopefully roll into the playoffs scoring at a ridiculous rate right now. And the line of Stamkos, Kucherov, and Pallone is just absolutely en fuego. Stamkos and Kucherov in particular, as Nick Geddes from Outkick.com joins me this morning. How are you, partner?
I'm doing well. Like you said, Lightning last night, finishing off things the way the Panthers wanted to on their home ice. The Lightning got that done last night, which was good to see. And I think we have a opponent basically now for the playoff just about. Yeah,
I think it's pretty much set in stone now. No. We're 3 ahead of Boston. We'd have to lose our final 2. We got Columbus on the road and then the Islanders.
Yeah, back to back.
So I can't see that. And Boston would have to win there too. So it's going to be Toronto and the Bolts start this playoff adventure. I like it.
Can't ask for a better series talent-wise. Than that, I don't think so.
Austin Matthews got his 60th last night, the first to do it since Steven Stamkos. We didn't see him the other night, but that's okay.
Well, he might have gotten his 60th, the first one in 10 years since Stamkos, but I still think Stamkos stole the show last night around the National Hockey League.
Damn right he did. His 100th point last night. He was the number 1 star of the NHL last week, and why not? 13 points in 4 games. Now gone 5 games with at least 3 points. I think he's the first Lightning player to ever do that.
That I'll take it even further. He's the first player since Yari Curry in 1992, 1993 to do that, who did it 6 times.
So he's hot. Is what you're saying.
He's a bit hot.
He's smoking.
He's smoking hot.
And Cooch last night with another 4-point night. He just continues to dazzle. I think he's got 9 goals in his last 9 games as well. So not only is he's always been the great playmaker and put up lots of assists, but now he's filling up the biscuit in the basket. And
he's shooting the puck.
Oh, he's shooting the puck.
Shooting the puck.
Shoot the freaking puck.
He's got a great shot. And we're like, just shoot it more. Just shoot it more. And it's no coincidence that he's starting to put it, I think 24 goals now in 35 games or something for Nikita Kucherov now this year. I mean, just as good as ever right now.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this team getting playoff ready, and boy, are they ever. This is it's great to watch, and it's not just the fact that they're scoring the goals. It's also the fact that they're just playing with more energy and more focus, and suddenly all the stupid drop passes and horrible turnovers, they're not all gone, but they've been cut severely. And that's really the key to this team. And I think Vasi is starting to pick it up as well. I think he's locking in a little bit more. This is, kind of, when I was saying I'm not sure this team is championship caliber, it's because we just had not seen it. And we knew we had the core, obviously, with back to the core was certainly good enough, but you can't just win with a few guys. You got to have a deep team to win a Stanley Cup. And my questions were more about some of the new guys and how all the lines were going to fit together. Was Vasi going to get better locked in? And we've seen all that come back, as I thought it would, but we just hadn't seen it. And it's good now to see it against some of the better teams last week, and of course keeping it. And I think it's honestly, I think it's almost as important when you get a Columbus to come in, which is a perfect time for them to do what they normally do, right? Which is play down to the competition, flip the switch back off, take a break. And they didn't do that last night, which I think is good.
they're incapable of doing it right now. They're just too hot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way it looks right now. I mean, they get on the ice, looks like they could score 7-8 goals every night if they wanted to. It's looked that way for the past week or so since the Winnipeg game, I'd say.
Yeah.
And the Stamkos and Kucherov being on the same line right now, I mean, it's not even fair. It's not fair for the opposition. I mean, they're making every pass right now. And Stamkos, I don't think I've seen him this accurate from his office in a long time.
Yeah.
He is accurate as could be. It feels like he's always getting it on net, if nothing else. It's going in more often than not. And I said yesterday, man, he really wants to get that 40-goal, 100-point season, which looked out of reach, by the way. Like he was going to come up just short.
Yeah.
And then, like we just said, he's gone on an absolutely historic run in NHL history right now to get there. What else? We said so much about him. I don't know what else to say.
Well, and just underscore, it's his 14th season.
Yeah.
And it may be his best season ever.
And some of us were saying that this was it. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you could look back at the 60-goal season. I think you would have to say that is the standard for him.
Mm-hmm.
But, in terms of winning, this team has a great chance to win another cup. And he did it while he needed to step up when Paul wasn't in and Coach wasn't in. Yeah. We need Stamkos to be great this year. And who really thought he would put up a 100-point season? None of us. We all thought he was trending in the other direction. And here he turns it around and gets healthy. I mean, it is really one of the greatest seasons in the history of Lightning hockey. And don't forget, we kind of look at this team kind of side-eyed, right? They just got their 4th, 50th win season in franchise history.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not easy to win 50 games in this league and put up, 105 points.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's hard to do. And we're literally looking at this team like, they've been kind of muddling, which they have the past couple of months, just to be honest. But when you look at the back of the entirety of the season, it's a hell of a year. Hell of a year.
It still is. And for Stamkos, I could argue he's probably a more complete player now than he ever was. The helpers that he's picking up, I think he just set a career high in assists this year as well. He learned, obviously, playing with Marty all the time, who transformed himself into an assist king later in his career. I think Stamkos has added that to his repertoire, but he's also scoring 40 goals a year.
Yeah,
I mean, when you combine that, you're getting the best of Steven Stamkos, I think, that we've ever seen in year 14. He's flying around, by the way. He's getting physical. He looks like a guy that's never been injured before. You couldn't tell. It's another tip of the cap to him. He's the captain, and he's leading us right now.
Yeah, and we didn't say anything. That was all on ice. We didn't haven't said anything about his leadership.
No.
And we haven't. Brian Bradley mentioned this last week when I think it was before the Winnipeg game, where they came out late and not many players came out at all to morning skate.
Yeah, it was a Toronto game, I think.
Toronto game. So, and we theorized that maybe they had a players only meeting. But since that time, they have flipped the switch. Whatever, if there was, it hasn't really been publicized, but something happened. Something flipped that switch, and I think that may have been it.
Yeah,
and that's probably Steven Stamkos getting up in front of the room saying, guys, look at me.
Oh, he's a true leader.
14 years in, and I'm giving everything I got out there, and I see a lot of guys that aren't, quite frankly. And when I'm not saying that this happened, but I'm just, it kind of looks like it. It kind of feels like it should have happened. I mean, he can stand up in front of the room and go, 14 years in, come on, let's go. I mean, what can I do? He's too humble to say anything like that. Something I would say, but not him. Yeah. But I think that would be the message. Is like somebody should stand up and go, look at that guy. I mean, let's go. This guy is bleeding out there on the ice for you guys. 14 years in, he's got 2 cups. He doesn't need to do all this stuff, but he is leading our ass to 3 in a row. Now let's go.
Yeah,
right.
And because when he got the captaincy, I mean, a lot of guys get the captaincy. They get that C on the sweater, and maybe it's just because they're the best player on the team, right? And they just get the C.
Yeah, it's the way it always works.
Sometimes it works like that in most cases nowadays. It doesn't mean you're getting the best leader on the team,
right?
And I think Stamkos has turned himself into that, and he's in that. I think you could say he's every bit as a leader as Andrechuk was, as LeCavier was, as Marty in his later careers was.
I would agree with that.
You have to put him in that echelon now.
Yeah. What a career he has put together. But this season just kind of, I don't want to say it came out of nowhere. Obviously, he's an elite hockey player, but I don't think anybody anticipated.
It was out of nowhere for me.
I don't think anybody anticipated this kind of season for Steven Stamkos. But if there's a comeback player of the year or just, that guy definitely should be up there. It's hard to get that when you're an elite player, right? But
does Cooch get the comeback? You didn't play any games last year.
I don't know how that works. But,
I don't know.
But speaking of Kucherov, this first shot is Exhibit A from last night of why he needs to shoot the puck more. He has got one of the greatest shots in the game, and we've seen it in the last couple of weeks. He's really starting to fire it.
Not give him too much room. Here's Kucherov. Scores! Nikita Kucherov from Steven Stamkos, and those two guys remain red hot. It is incredible what these two guys are doing over the last just handful of games.
Yeah, that was he kind of crosses and takes a nice pass from Stamkos, then crosses into the middle of the ice above the circle and just snaps one off that Merce Lincoln's had no freaking chance on.
Yeah.
Zero.
And you see the smile that was on Cooch's face.
Yeah.
He's a guy when he's not having a good time out there. It's very evident on his face, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of not a knock, but it's just who he is as a player. But when he's having fun and he's shooting the puck like that, the smile on the face, he looked like, even though Stamkos was great last night, I thought Cooch was still the best player on the ice. I did. And he's the best player in the entire world when he wants to be.
When he wants to be. Yeah. There's no question about that. And last night he was mixing it up. He was getting pucks. And this one, another primary assist on Hedman to Kucherov to Stamkos on the power play. Where have we seen this before?
Again, Hedman, Kucherov, Stamkos shoots.
What a pass.
Steven Stamkos with point number 99. 2-1 Tampa Bay. This is almost ridiculously good. They are in such a zone. They have such a feel. You don't even have to think about it. Where are the men?
One touch
pass
by
it
Cooch.
around them, pass it through them. And Cooch does it so often without looking at Stammer. That's the most amazing part, because
He didn't look at him.
He just fools the defenders all the time. Stammer knows it's coming. He doesn't know how or why, but he knows it's coming. All he has to do is feel the seam. That's what he has to do. Look at the box. Where is that seam? Because Kucherov will find it. Again.
See, and that's a kind of an underrated thing about goal scoring. It works kind of the same way in basketball. When you're teaching people in soccer as well, people think that they're open sometimes, but there's no passing lane. If there's no passing lane, not open. There may be nobody around you, but if there's no passing lane, you're not open. And as Engblom was explaining there, you got to find that little seam, and you don't know how or why it's going to get to you, but he's going to find a way. And on that one, Kucherov did it. It was a no-look, one-touch pass across two defensemen in the power play, right on the tape of Steven. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Even the pass, the pass kind of handcuffed Cooch too. That pass was pass was in on him, and just the strength, I guess, to get it all the way across and through somebody's legs and right on the tape. Just realize what you're watching. We remind you all the time to just enjoy what you're watching. This is like
once in a lifetime.
It's once in a lifetime stuff. And the power play, which we talked about 2 weeks ago, the Lightning power play was ranked 17th or 18th in the league, I think.
Yep.
They're now 8th in the league.
They're
right back to where they belong,
right?
Because of what they've done on the power play. It is a full sync right now, everything they're doing on the ice.
It's beautiful to see, and the timing could not be more perfect. And by the way, Florida's a lot in a row now?
Broke them.
We broke them. All right, the second. So the Bolts go to the second period up 2-1. And once again, it's Kucherov to Stamkos for his 39th and 100th point. And I want to big great props to the fans, the Lightning fans, because this was a cheer when he hit 100, where you knew that the fans knew it was 100. They didn't have to have it announced. They listened to my pregame show, and they knew they could see history tonight. And listen to the crowd react to the 100th point for Stamkos.
Gavrikov has his pocket picked by Kucherov. Here's Stamkos. Shoots! Scores! There it is! Steven Stamkos, for the first time in his spectacular career, 100 points!
Great call by Dave Randolph right there. It's sensational. Bally Sports on that one. And the goal song is just
Nikita Kucherov does just a heck of a job on this play. He strips Gavrikov of the puck. Gavrikov just didn't feel him coming, I guess, and figured he could just block him out. But Kucherov wants that puck everywhere. And when Stammer sees what Kuch does, he takes a look in the middle for a second. No, he just loads and fires. Blankenberg can't get to him in time, and then it's a beauty of a low shot right inside the far goal post. Congratulations, Steven. That's another one to check off your bucket.
But that, have a week or two, huh? Become the all-time leading points getter in Lightning history, and then 100 points.
In the middle of that, you went to the White House too.
Oh, by the way, yeah. And deferred as the captain to an American player to speak instead of yourself.
Kind of a good guy, yeah. Just a little bit.
Hard to have a better couple weeks than that. I mean, tip the freaking cap, Jiminy Christmas.
And even on that play, like Nikita Kucherov makes the whole thing because he's back checked. I mean, when your stars are doing stuff like that, that's winning hockey. Yeah, that's truly winning hockey. Your stars are not expected to do those things. When they do, it's just another added on. And I remember Stamkos a couple games ago did the same thing against Toronto where he back checked all the way. Yep. And now you see Kucherov doing the same thing. And again, the smile, they're having fun. They're having fun again. Remember Pat Maroon said they weren't having fun a few weeks ago.
That's right. Yeah. It's funny how when you're just filling up the score sheet, things are fun.
A little bit.
Yeah. It's really funny how that works. You want to throw in one from the redheaded stepchild? Andre Pallone. We love him. He's the best. He's the glue. It was funny. He was doing an interview with Gabby in the intermission, and she kind of asked the question like your line is just ridiculous right now. Like, what's going on? She's like, she's like, what's your role? He's like, he'll basically watch.
Get out of the way.
Get out of the way. And he kind of had this big smile that went over his face. It was kind of like, well, yeah, not much, but I go get the pucks. I give it to them. They score. I'm like, yep, that's kind of what you're doing. But you got to have that guy. You got to have that guy or it doesn't work.
Yeah, and you got to get in the right position.
Yes.
You got to get in the right position. And on this one right here, talk about getting in the right position.
Yes, here it is.
Kucherov looking for options. He's got time back there. Pull out to the front of the net. Scores! Kucherov waited and then sends it out in front for Andre Pallone, and it's 4-1.
You might want to take away some of his time and space.
You don't see this play happen very often anymore. But Kucherov just is a master using that net, and Columbus is afraid to go after him, and probably rightly so, but it also means that everybody has to be checked completely. And how many guys are going to come out on their backhand and thread it through Werenski between his stick and his body and have Andre Pallone cruising in motion?
I know.
Puck's right on his stick. He just has to finish it off. Dean Kukin was the guy sort of watching Pallone, but Kucherov knew he had enough time and enough room. And that's one off Mike.
There's got to be something more to this Sweet Caroline thing.
I
think you were totally trolling the Bruins.
I'm sitting right now, and I'm like, I need a second round series against Boston, and I need a Palat like OT winner or something. And while we're celebrating in the corner, Sweet Caroline's playing, and Boston's just waiting on us to do the handshake line, and their song's playing. I need that.
It's got to be it, right? It's got to be a total troll job.
If we're going to continue our manifesting of destiny here on this show,
absolutely.
Then that needs to happen.
That needs to happen. What better? I mean, I can hear the Boston fans now. Oh, you're just ripping us off there. What's that all about there? Mr. Important Pants.
That might start a riot if that happened. That might start a riot. Marchand might lead the riot, or leave the ice completely. But those fans, oof.
Are you talking about in Boston or here?
Here.
They won't play that song.
No,
they lose.
No, I'm saying here, if it's like a clinching scenario, I don't care even if it's an OT winner, just whatever the end result is, if the Lightning win the series, just play it. Just play it.
You know, I have the power to influence this. Huh? I think we're way too classy.
We won't do it. And the NHL is so about the spirit of the game, the sportsmanship.
Yeah,
ain't gonna happen.
You and I, if we were in charge, absolutely, 100%. But they're way better than us. Yeah, and that's okay. That's how we can admit that. All right, let's go to the John Cooper post. Did we get salty Cooper last night? He might have been salty.
No reasons to get no salty.
But he gets salty sometimes when that's when he gets salty, when his team plays well, because he doesn't want to make them feel like they're fat and happy. Smart that way.
You were asked what does back-to-back Stanley Cup mean, and I'm paraphrasing. You said anybody can win one, two makes you special. It's been 42 years since anybody won three. Where would that put this organization with three in a row?
Well, the organization, I think, is pretty much set. It's been ever since Jeff Nick took over, it's been first class all the way, and winning has followed him around. As for the team, I mean, if you could, the Islanders won 3 or 4 straight, and they called them a dynasty. And so, that word might get thrown around, but to me, what this group has done in making the playoffs, I think every year but one, since I've been here, and to be in, I don't know what it is 5 conference finals in 7 years or whatever it is. Yeah. It's tough to win. And this group continues to find a way. Now we're at 50 points, 50 wins, 100 plus points once again. And
dynasty.
This isn't going to be any, this isn't guaranteeing playoff success, but it's a pretty darn good run the past decade by this group. And, led by, Stammer, who had his first 100-point season, which is pretty remarkable when you think about it. So I'm excited to see what we're going to do, though. This it'll be a fun spring.
Stamkos 100 points. Like, he's absolutely one of the best goal scorers of this generation. But what's it like the last week or so to watch this kind of run he's been on?
Well, yeah, there's a few guys. That line's been extremely hot, and it's no surprise we're winning. But it seems it's been weird the last few games. It seems like I'm handing pucks out every, 3 or 4 pucks to guys on milestones, whether it's Hetty or Cooch or Stammer, or Korn and Bassey. It just go down the list. So it's when you're doing that, usually good things are happening.
Obviously, Victor has a special night too, but if you're watching that tribute video, does it make it extra special just knowing how much he and Steven have been a part of each other's journeys and even these milestones?
Well, you go through the league and I think, so you're asking me this on the spot, but like Kane and Taze have been together, and Getzlav and Perry were together a long time, and I think Sid and Malkin Letang, they've been there a long time, and Stammer and Hetty been together. I think there's little pockets of players around the league that have that rare, to be together for like a decade plus, and to put the points up and have the success they've had. And it's no surprise they're like besties. And, I think those other players I mentioned, I'm sure they're pretty close-knit, have close relationships as well. But it's to watch those two guys grow. And I've got this, I've had a front row seat for a long time to see it. It's, you're just really happy for those guys just to watch the accolade come in. Most importantly, and I think they'll be the first two to tell you, it's 2 Stanley Cups. I mean, most of them.
Is there on Chernak at all, or any?
Yeah, he's had a tough week. That's all I know. The poor kid. So we'll. He seems like he's going to be okay, but it was just unfortunate what happened to him tonight.
Yeah, Chernak got his face stitched up the other day because of a fight, and then takes a puck to the face again, probably right where those stitches are. Oh,
his face always finds the puck.
Jiminy,
for whatever.
Wow, poor guy.
Yeah, I tell you what, though, listen to John Cooper, though.
Give him a break for a little bit.
Listen to John Cooper, though, talk about, Hedman and Stamkos and that partnership being a part of each other's careers, the entirety of it. I mean, I started just thinking in my head, in terms of like, it goes further than those two guys. If you we've already talked about John Cooper's the longest tenured coach in the NHL at 9 seasons, because there's so much turnover in the NHL and the coaching world all the time. But Killorn, Palat, Kucherov, Vasilevsky, that core right there, about 6 or 7 guys, the fact that they've all been together for 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope everybody understands. And in the salary cap era, that's not supposed to happen.
No, it's not.
The last team that had a core like that happened that long was like the Detroit when they were under Babcock, and it was Datsuk and Zetterberg and Yzerman was in there and the Kronwalls. I mean, that doesn't happen anymore.
Well, think about this. When Chicago did their back-to-back finals.
In Chicago, yeah.
Right? Taine Taze and Kane both got $10 million deals. Remember that?
Yes.
And what happened? They got to sell off everybody else.
Everybody.
The success ended. And that's the Lightning have been able, and this is what I go back to when Stamkos took less money to stay here. It set the tone for the rest of the team, and they have been able to keep this core together because guys have decided to do that as a team. And may I just add, none of them are lowly paid. They're not they're not the highest paid, but they're still making great money. And the cost of living and no taxes here, no property tax or income tax makes a difference, obviously. But still, if they wanted to chase the money, they would be, in Winnipeg, not going to the playoffs. Some of these guys, they're smarter than that. And
the best example I can give you, honestly, is Edmonton, who is in the playoffs.
Right.
But Edmonton has 2 world-class players, maybe the 2 best players on the entire world, on the planet.
Yeah.
And they're paying them, I think, $25 million both a year, but $80 million payroll.
Not 25 a year.
Like they're combining for 25. They're combining for 25 of an $80 million payroll.
Yeah.
The Lightning are paying Stamkos and Kucherov, I want to say like 16 or 17.
Yeah, probably.
That 8 or 7 million, it matters.
That does matter.
It matters.
That's probably 2 or 3 younger guys.
Yeah.
That are your third line.
And that's why Edmonton,
second, third line.
And that's why Edmonton is not a Stanley Cup contender. No matter when they make the playoffs, they're not a contender because they don't have any scoring outside of those 2 guys. They don't have money to get any other buddy in there. Right. That's how it works in this league.
And that's why, what Yzerman was able to do to set the foundation, and then what Brisebois was able to do to put them over the top. And now, again, with a couple of very aggressive moves this year to get Paul and Hagel. And while Hagel is not filling up the score sheet yet, he's getting close to it.
I think he's noticeable.
But he's noticeable. He's making plays. Paul has been unbelievable. He's been tremendous.
I'm bringing him back in the offseason.
Oh, God, yes. Yes. I mean, he fits like a glove here. It really, really does. And you can see that he's now able to honestly express himself as a hockey player. I mean, he clearly was playing with some type of, I don't know what, but what he's been able to show here, we hadn't seen in 6 years. I mean, he was good, but we hadn't seen this good.
There's a difference in playing on the third line in Ottawa and playing on the third line in Tampa Bay, who you're playing with.
Yeah.
He's playing with Ross Colton and Brandon Hagel, who both have 20 goals plus to their name this year.
It's a great point on a third line. Is there another third line in this league that has 2 20-goal scorers?
Not that I know.
I mean,
of.
Obviously Hagel came over, but I don't think so.
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
And a guy like Nick Paul, who I'm sure if he was here the entire year, he'd have 20 goals probably. Is there a guy in the NHL, in the team in the NHL that has a 4th liner with 17 goals?
No.
Like Corey Perry.
That's right. Yeah.
Does that exist? Or Maroon, who I think has like double digits.
He's got 16, I think.
Yeah.
Or no,
he
has
17,
9th.
I think, right.
Was it? No, I'll double check.
That's Perry. Maroon has like 9, I think.
Yeah.
But,
they're scoring up and down this line. It just happens that the top line has just been freaking scorching hot lately.
Yeah, I'm very happy they got hot here now at the end because I don't know. We like I said 2 weeks ago, we were concerned. I was concerned at least. I was like, I don't know how in the world they're going to match up to these teams.
Yep.
But now it's like we're going in against Toronto. They're coming in hot. They're going to be desperate. But hey, it's going to run through us again. It's just
good to see the Lightning just playing at their best right now when the playoffs start. It's we thought it was going to happen, but to see it actually come to fruition, and the way it has with Stamkos is just outstanding. All right, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about your Tampa Bay Rays game last night. Also, a little bit of stadium discussion. There've been a little bit of some stuff on Twitter we want to address, and another topic for this show. The empowerment of players. Deebo Samuel wants to call plays now. Okay. When are we going to draw the line? Stay with us. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com. The world economy is in chaos and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
And that in itself is a fascinating conversation we should get to here. Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. If you have any issues with stucco work on your home, there was in the past 5 to 10 years, a lot of contractors were using some defective stucco that does not work very well in Florida. You get the cracks and then you get moisture into your interior of your walls. Now you've got damage inside the walls that might not be able to see for 3 or 4 years. And then by then it's too late on your warranty. So ask an expert. And that would be Chris Palermo. He knows what he's doing. He's dealt with these particular issues many, many times. He's recovered millions for his clients. So if you have those cracks on the outside of your house, don't take any chances. It's a free call. It's a free call. Just go to PalermoPA.com. Go to his website. Don't want to give you your numbers right now. I want you to crash writing them down. Just Palermo PA or Google Christopher Palermo Law Offices and get in touch with him. It's a free call. Just say, hey, he probably asked you to send some pictures, blah, 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 and then we'll figure it out. But don't be caught with your pants down, all right? You don't want to be caught with your pants down. That damage is happening inside your walls right now. You may not find out about it for years, so you got to take action now. If you got those cracks, so go to PalermoPA.com. All right, Nick and I were just talking as he warmed up his bougie Starbucks that he got today. But you're not a Starbucks guy, right? You're a Dunkin' guy.
I hate Starbucks with like every fiber of my being.
I'm with you.
It hurts me to actually have to go there.
Absolutely, and you'll see me with a Starbucks cup because we have a Starbucks.
It's free.
Here, yeah, we have a Starbucks machine here.
Yeah.
I'm not paying $6 for a cup of coffee. That's bitter. I don't like it.
No.
Not to mention, not really love the way they run their business. But anyway, I'm a Dunkin' guy.
Yes.
I love Dunkin'.
Everybody runs on Dunkin'.
Yeah. I mean, the only downside to Dunkin' is like every time I go through the drive-thru, I get this close to ordering that cinnamon bun or the bear claw. Oh, that's my weakness. So I can get through the line with just the coffee and maybe, and their croissant sandwiches are excellent.
Oh, the chicken bacon croissant.
Oh, excellent. And a value. I mean, where do you find value like this anymore?
Yeah, it's like $3.99.
Yeah. You get out of there under $5 for a coffee and a nice little breakfast sandwich.
Yeah. I give you a hint. So I told you, Mike.
Yeah, try that at Starbucks.
I love
$13.50, please.
I was gonna say,
would you like to tip 17%?
Literally.
Yeah. Like, what's with that now? Now we got no choice. Like, you go through the line, and they're making.
Ask. Sometimes I go to coffee shops and they ask you how much do you want to tip. They ask me how much do you want to tip?
Like on the loudspeaker, how much do you want to tip, sir?
I didn't know
you're
that.
Looking around, you're like, everything I have, take it all.
I didn't know that pressing the button and putting some sugar in there was gonna really gonna be strenuous.
It's great service. Did you see the service that they got? They spent $13.57, please. I got a cup of coffee and a scone. I said, "What, you want a mortgage? What? Jiminy Christmas!
An arm and a leg."
I know. But anyway, no, I'm a Dunkin' guy. Also, I also like the local coffee shops whenever I can. You always want to support the locals.
I like the one down here on Henderson, Kawa or whatever.
Kawa Coffee, yeah, that's more of a chain, but it feels like more of a
neighborhood thing.
Yeah.
Casey takes me to Buddy Brew.
There's a place in our building called the Lady in the Mug.
I've heard
chicks love that place. They love it. Guys, if you want to go to a new coffee shop, the girls will love. Got all these great little Instagram photo things they can do in there. The girls love it. So you take her to the Lady in the Mug, right across from Oxford Exchange.
It's not
Speaking of overpriced coffee, if you want to be seen, Oxford Exchange.
It's not about how the coffee tastes. It's about the surrounding area. It's about the environment, the ambiance.
Yeah.
It's not about the coffee.
You don't have to say venti at Dunkin'.
Oh my!
You never have to say grande at Dunkin'.
Exactly. When I order my stuff at Dunkin' or Starbucks and I say large, Casey's like, "It's a venti."
Who is that comedian? I think it was, I forget who it was. There's a scene on that where it's like, "Venti is 20." You're wrong again. You're wrong in 4 languages. Venti means 20. It doesn't mean large. Grande means large. so spot on. You want to be this, super sophisticated, and you're screwing up the language. What is it? No, wrong. So anyway, I'm a Dunkin' guy too. I'm with you. All right. Well, last night the Rays did not do their typical pitching and defense thing. It got to be a little bit of a circus in the was it third or fourth inning? Against the Mariners. Everything was going well, and then Wander Franco's been absolutely amazing, but he butchered a double play ball in the worst way, tailor-made, and then Choi's spiking a ball into the ground. Do you have any of these plays? Any of this?
I did not care.
Don't worry about that.
I did not care to have these plays.
Yeah, the circus that was.
Although now I think about it, I should have put them on a montage and put some circus music.
You should have, yes. That's flat out producing. We need more of that. But it was ugly, and then the bases loaded chopper over Choi's head. I mean, got the worst contact ever. Scores 3. I mean, it's one of those nights you're on 7th, and they have a freaking some type of winter warlock on the mound. I don't know what the hell that was.
What did I tell you? Carl? He's at Tyler Glass now. Like one.
Holy hell!
Enough.
What was that? That dude was unhittable.
He's filthy. He
is filthy.
I told you.
What's his name?
Logan Gilbert.
Logan Gilbert.
He was a first-round pick like 4 years ago, I believe.
Yeah, I'm like this. Like it has like the most innocuous name. Like 2 bad first names. Logan Gilbert, right? 2 bad first names as your whole name, and he's just like you don't expect anything from Logan Gilbert. Yeah. Logan Gilbert is like the 3rd librarian. Like he's half filling up the taking out the trash and stocking books. That's not some witch on the mound. That guy was unbelievable last night. That being said, the offense had to be left to the great Rene Pinto. Who had Rene Pinto getting a home run before Josh Lowe? Anybody this year? No. No.
Yeah, I was gonna say while I had his numbers here, I think it's time to have the Josh Lowe discussion. For everybody,
how's that trade work?
For everybody who again acted like he was just gonna walk right into this lineup and be better than Austin Meadows.
Austin Meadows can't play the field,
guys.
He can't catch. He's a liability. He can't hit left-hand pitching, and so you need to just get rid of him.
Yeah.
Who said that?
A lot of people. Apparently. I don't know how much of them know
any
baseball.
of them named Nick. That was my Nick impression. You didn't like it?
No, I did not. I just want to skip right over it and get to Josh Lowe's numbers here.
Go right ahead.
Oh, my goodness. 22 strikeouts, by the way, for Josh Lowe. For a guy who did not strike out much in minor leagues, is known for this great plate discipline. 22 Ks, and he cannot hit a fastball. He can't hit a major league fastball.
That's going to be a problem.
Last night, and this has happened a few times, this year. He come up in a big situation. Last night, the Rays had some momentum after the 2 home runs.
Right.
They had runners on first and second, I believe, with 1 out. I think they're kind of getting momentum. It's 8-4. Josh Lowe takes fastball, strike 1.
Right down the middle.
Takes fastball 2. Right down the middle. And then another fastball, slightly elevated inside, and swings right through it, not even close.
Yeah.
Sit down.
It was a very ugly at bat.
It was a very ugly at bat. And I've seen a lot of ugly at bats out of Josh Lowe as of late. I said 22 strikeouts just in the last 4 games alone. He has struck out 7 times. He struck out in every game he's played in this year, except for his second game of the season, in fact. And he's hitting a very robust 0.83 for those of you who still believe in batting average like I do, or 157. I'm sorry. I shortchanged him there. 157 for Josh Lowe.
Do you want the Austin Meadows numbers?
Let me get you got the Austin Meadows
numbers?
Numbers?
He's hitting 327. He's got 9 RBIs, 2 triples, 2 doubles. Does not have a home run yet. But does have 9 RBIs.
And he forced an entire stadium to chant Yankees suck.
That's right. 8 walks, by the way. On base percentage of .431, slugging .449, OPS 880. It's probably a little bit better than
I think.
And we didn't expect Josh to come in and replace Austin Meadows like all of his numbers. We didn't expect it, but you got to be better than that. You got to be way better than that.
I didn't expect that. I'm just relaying what I read on these people on Twitter are trying to tell me that Josh Lowe is going to come in here and be better. He's worth more than I'm the one who advocated to trade Austin Meadows. Okay. Yeah. I said it.
I saw the wisdom in it. I get it.
I got it. And
but you got to get way more back.
But you got to get somebody back that's going to help me win games.
Yeah,
right. At the moment,
either a starting pitcher, a bullpen piece, or somebody who's going to drive in runs.
Yeah.
On the major league level, not the AAA level. Yeah. So y'all can stop sending me stuff about Itzhak Paredes at the AAA level. I don't care. It doesn't help me win a World Series up here.
And that's my point. If the goal is to win a World Series, I maintain. And even though it's just 17
games. But look what we're doing at Durham, man. Our WRC plus at Durham is like the best in the league. I don't give a shit. That's the Rays fan base. It pisses me off. Oh, look how many prospects we got. We're gonna. Who cares? You got to win a World Series in this freaking century. No, it doesn't matter. But we can have. So Stu can keep the payroll low and stay competitive, and we can all think that he's really spending money. There's actually people out there that are on Twitter going, well, look how much the Rays are doing. They're spending their money. And when it was in Freddie Freeman and we were in on Suzuki, you still have a payroll below $80 million. You still have one of the lowest payrolls, and you're still $66 million under the average payroll. And the dude's got $500 million quiche in the bank. So stop telling me about how many good freaking prospects we have. And let's get somebody up here at the major league level when we trade away somebody with 106 RBIs. That's going to help this team now score runs. All right.
That was a good rant.
Okay.
Good rant.
I feel better now.
Felt better.
I feel much better now. Yeah. Don't you feel better?
I do. I don't want to listen. It's like I keep trying to say, it's 17 games. I'm not writing Josh Lowe off after 17 games, but I'm just making the point that for all of you that said that he was going to walk right into this lineup and be great and be our leadoff hitter or hit 4th or 5th, whatever, you're out of your mind. He can't play. He cannot be in the lineup as a regular at this moment. Dare I say he needs to go down to AAA again for a stint. He needs to get some confidence built back up because if you can't hit a major league fastball right now, there's no sense in being here.
That's a problem.
There's no sense in being here. That may sound harsh to some of y'all, but that's where it is. That's where it is.
And by the way,
it's just a hole in the lineup right now.
By the way, it takes time to get used to hitting major league fastball. All this stuff takes time, which is why we said you need to get a major league piece back for that. But anyway,
if you wanted him to play in the MLB this year, if you wanted him to not be in AAA, that's fine. Put him on the major league roster, but don't expose him to be an everyday player if he's not ready for it.
Yeah.
Have somebody else in the bank that you can go to. Who is it? I love Brett Phillips to death. Okay. But are we going to sit here and act like he's an everyday player?
He's not getting to 60 RBIs.
No,
not every day.
No. KK was picking it up, by the way, I will say. But again, do I want him playing every day, preferably? No.
Mm-mm.
Harold Ramirez, do I want him playing every day?
No.
No. Okay. I just want somebody to let me know where, as we get into the dog days here of May, June, July, where are these runs coming from? I need somebody to explain it. And Brandon Lau's going to get going. He always struggles in April. I understand.
Yep.
But somebody needs to show me.
I agree. 100%. Well, maybe Renee Pinto is the answer. You think?
Hey, I mean, 8 years in the minors, and he gets here finally out of nowhere.
Only 2 at-bats.
Two at-bats.
To get his first major league home run. How about that?
Let's listen to it.
His parents were there. The whole family was there.
That's a shot. Well tagged back into deep right center. Got a chance to get out of here. There it is. Home run. That's his first in the big leagues. And the Rays are on the board.
And
we were looking for something good. And there it is.
Yeah, nice job right there by the kid. And the guy who caught it gave the ball back and asked for not one signed ball for himself, but 2. One for himself and one for the little kid in front of him who he was going to give the ball to anyway.
Yeah.
So, or he did give the ball to. And then, of course, that whole thing. So good for him. He got it. And we got a little something out of Wander too.
We did.
Besides the error that opened the floodgates for the 7 runs. It happens. At least he can make up for it sometimes.
Make an exit.
I just love that sound. Love that sound.
Off the batter, Franco, and that baby's gone.
Such an easy swing. An easy swing, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't even look like he's swinging hard. Just like Miggy,
And that pitch is up and high and everything, and you just went up there and got it.
Yeah. He can hit it at any eye level.
Yeah.
Normally, that's the thing that really, changing the eye level, changing the swing plane, F's with everybody. It doesn't matter where you pitch this kid, man. The freaking barrel gets to the ball every freaking time.
Yeah, and he's starting to get, if you've noticed too, they're starting pitching a little differently. I saw Bally put up the splits yesterday. I don't know if you got a chance to see it. Him versus the fastball and everything else. Against the fastball, he hadn't struck out a single time this year until last night. He's hitting 450 or 460 against the fastball, 286 against the off speed, which is still pretty good.
Yeah.
And the 5Ks, no home runs, all the home runs against fastballs. Gilbert, and every time he faced him, it was nothing but off speed and change.
Yeah.
And then he only would give him a fastball really high where he couldn't get it to put him away.
Yeah.
And that's happened. I think he went hitless the 2 games prior. So teams are starting to pitch against him a little bit, but but again, he's a world-class hitter. He'll figure it out, but just something there to chew on a little bit.
That's what makes hitting so hard these days is, you have a hole in your swing with all the data that they have now. They find it. All right, we'll take a quick break. And when we come back, Leo Haggerty is going to join us. We're going to talk a little bit about the Buccaneers draft, the NFL draft. Former NFL scout Leo Haggerty joins us next. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. The world economy is in chaos and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. You will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally. It's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock. This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back. Time to talk a little Buccaneers Nfl Draft. We are presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo, PalermoPA.com. Leo Haggerty joining us now, former NFL scout, Amped Up Sports. What's up, my friend? How are you?
Boy, I'll tell you what, JP, I can't be any better. We're looking at the draft on Thursday. The Lightning are playing lights out.
Yeah, baby.
Great time to be in Tampa.
Yes, Tampa Bay. Even our beloved president has figured out we are Tampa Bay. All right, so we're close to D-Day. That'd be draft day for the Buccaneers. I mean, obviously, there's not a whole lot of new storylines coming out of One Buck Place. They're ready and just wait to see how the draft board falls to them. I guess my question to you to be, what would be the best player that would realistically fall to them? What's the best possible scenario for the Bucs in round one?
Boy, you know what, JP, that's a tough one because I think you're going to see a lot of movement because of all the 6 teams with multiple picks.
Yeah.
They may be trying to move to next year because that franchise quarterback, I don't think, is on the board.
Yeah.
So I've learned my trade from a man by the name of Carmen Pallone, who was the head scout with the Saints, and he said, always work from the ball out. If you do that, then if Zion Johnson's still around, or Devontae Wyatt is still around, or Kenyon Green is still around, then you may have to go offensive line. But I'll tell you what, it all depends, I think, JP. Where is Godwin in his rehab? And that could be a real problem because I'm not thinking he's going to be back before October. That's just me.
Mm-hmm.
And there's people talking Thanksgiving, and that wouldn't surprise me. I mean, there's NBA guys who've been out 2 years. It all depends on the severity, and we don't know that. If they're down that road, then I think, Treylon Burks from Arkansas, we saw him in the Outback Bowl.
Yeah.
If he's around, then I think that would be a good choice. Realistically, he could be around at 27.
Yeah, it's got to be. You got to feel like this guy is going to be a number one receiver. It's hard to find 27 in the draft. I really believe that. I would much rather see them, pick a Zion Johnson or a guy in the interior than a wide receiver. I think because I think we can get a good wide receiver in the second or third round. I think there's some guys out there. The kid from Jesuit was Christian Watson. The ones that there's some that they really like that they can get further down. I'm thinking that they go defense and go get a defensive playmaker like a Lewis Seen from Georgia, the safety hybrid defensive back. That's kind of where I think, or an edge rusher if somebody falls to them in that position. I think that's I think that would be the influence of Todd Bowles as a defensive guy, because he's got to be looking at this team for this year saying this offense is a 30-point a game offense. If I'm going to find any impact players that are really going to help us out this year, it's going to be on defense. That's where I think they're going.
JP, I don't think there's any doubt about that. They got to look defense because the offense is pretty well set.
Right.
again, if there's an Andrew Booth from Clemson hanging around, for some reason Kyle Hamilton is falling down the board.
Yep.
And that's strange to me because I'll tell you what, he would splash when we watched the Notre Dame game. You got Daxton Hill, who's another safety.
Yeah.
I just think when you look at this, I think that when the Bucs get to 27, and I asked, Jason Light, I said, do you trust your board or do you try to reach? And he said emphatically, trust your board. So they're going to look, and I think, JP, if they get to 27 and there's still 7 or 8 or 9 guys still on the board above 27, they will work back to the early second round because they'll get what they feel is first round talent.
Yeah, I agree with that. And Jason Light is not one to stick it with his pick. He likes to move up and down. So I think he's done well with that approach. I think he's gotten value when he's moved up and when he's moved down. So I think it's a good approach, and we may see it. And fans don't want to walk away with day one with no picks. But if you can add a second round pick and you're picking 27th, that's a home run. That's a huge home run. So we'll see. And that's all about how the draft falls and who falls down the board. And I think that's what's going to be the drama of the situation. What do you think just in general for the NFC South? Where do you think the Panthers are going? There's a lot of talk they may go Malik Willis. There's talk that if Malik Willis is there for the Falcons, that they take him, kind of a hometown kid. What do you think them and the Saints are going to do as well?
Yeah, it's funny you should say that because Gus Kattengill in New Orleans, who does ESPN radio down there, who I do it with, he swears that Carolina's going to take a quarterback no matter what. And I said, Gus, it makes no sense. You can get that guy down the board. The problem is, JP, you got Willis, you got a Ritter, you got guys that really are not top 10, but I think somebody's going to pull the trigger in the top 10. Which is good for the Bucs because that's going to drop people down. It's going to be good for New Orleans because it's going to drop people down. I think New Orleans is set with Jameis. Now, if something falls down the board and you've got a quarterback you rated at 10 or 11 or 12 and you're picking in the 20s, you better look around your room and say, hey, what do we do? And again, I think Atlanta and Carolina, they may want to take a look at some of these guys, but they may want to move down the board to get them.
Listen, I hope that both Carolina and Atlanta take quarterbacks because they're both in the top 10 and they're looking and they'll be overreaching for guys that I don't think are going to be impact quarterbacks in this league. I think Malik Willis has a chance, quite frankly. Pickett just I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if he has elite arm strength, but he could be. He's very productive, and he's a very athletic guy in terms of the way he throws the football. He could throw off platform, but I don't know. I think it would be a reach if both of those guys went early in the NFC South. I'd be happy. I don't know about you, but I would be.
Oh, absolutely, I'd be happy. And again, I asked Chase Light the same thing. I said, hey, it doesn't look like you're going to get those 2, 3, or 4 quarterbacks go off early. And he looked at me and goes, well, have you talked to 31 GMs about this? I said, no, I just talked to 30, which got a little giggle out of him. But again, Malik Willis scares me because he hasn't played in competition. Ritter and Pickett, they don't jump off the film at you. They're guys that can manage the game, and that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But
it's not a top 10 pick.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
If those 3 guys are off the board before 27, that means people are falling to the Bucs.
Exactly.
Like
really good players are falling their way. So yeah, go ahead and overdraft all them quarterbacks. That'll be fantastic. Any other thoughts on this draft for the Buccaneers? Guys, maybe down the line that you like?
Hey, JP, I tell you what, it's going to be tough because we don't know how they're developing conversations with Sue or Gronk. And again, they got to take a tight end. And Mike Tannenbaum made a great point. He said, you got to take a cornerback every draft. It's gotten to a point now you got to take a wide receiver every draft. So I look for them, depending on what they do in the first round, wide receiver, cornerback on day 2. And then on day 3, They're going to get an offensive lineman somewhere in this draft. They're going to have to take an edge rusher somewhere in this draft because JPP is getting a little long in the tooth, and we don't know what they're doing with him. So I like, it's kind of crazy when you look at this because you may get a guy like Jahan Dotson that just falls down the draft board.
Exactly.
Which is, and I have no problem with the Bucs moving up in the second round to get somebody because now you got a little bit of capital to play with.
Absolutely. All right, Leo, great stuff. Tell the folks how they can get all your content, my friend.
Hey, you go to Amped Up Sports, take a look at it. We record the post-game press conferences with all the coaches and players after the Bolts game. And JP, I don't know if you heard the question I asked.
I did. It's a great one.
Yeah. Hey, the dynasty word came up, which I thought was interesting.
I already think they've qualified as dynasty, in my opinion. Set 5 conference finals in 7 years, 2 cups. Come on. That's the dynasty.
And fighting through that 65 days up in the COVID bubble. That's phenomenal.
Yeah. And look, and they can still have a chance to add to it this year. And if they three-peat, then there's no question it's a dynasty, no doubt about it. But as we underscored, what we're watching like right now with Stamkos and Kucherov and Hedman and Vasilevsky, 4 no doubt Hall of Famers in my opinion, playing at the same time. This is the time that the Lightning organization will never see again. You just don't have stretches like this. It's very, very rare, and they're all in their prime, really. So enjoy it. It's the best.
Absolutely. As a fan, sit back and enjoy the ride because you're not going to see too many organizations in the NHL.
That's right. Absolutely. All right, Leo, great stuff. We will take a quick break. When we come back, we'll dive in with the Rays. Rich Hollenberg will join us, and we'll talk about this start to the season, what we have learned so far. Stay with us. Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not just about insuring all the pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich, Gasparilla, and our Bucks, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance, so do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call some 1-800 number. Call Italiano and be greeted by one of your neighbors. That's 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Named the Small Business of the Year at the Tampa Chamber. 813-877-7799. Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The market cap for the industry is now over $1 trillion. And you read about people making millions of dollars, right? You want to get in, but have no idea what to do? Or maybe you dabbled a bit and you want to unlock the real money-making opportunities and don't know how to do it. There are over 10,000 tokens and thousands of decentralized finance exchanges. Lava.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the second hour of the JP Peterson Show, presented by Bay Area Modern Medical Center via MMC.com. Christopher Lugo and his team will get you right, taking new patients. Go to BAMMC.com. He works with our top military pilots, can work with you as well, keep you in shape and work on preventative medicine, not just when you get sick. That's BAMMC.com. All right, let's dive into the Rays a little bit with our good friend Rich Hollenberg, my former colleague at the Daily Sports Source. What's up, my friend? How are you?
I'm great. Just looking for a rebound tonight. That's all.
Yeah. Well, before we get into that, I just sent you that fabulous picture of the three of us when we were hosting together with none other. I think that's a great Frankie Val. Is that who's in that picture I sent you?
Yes.
Yes, I was just making sure.
From Frankie and Annette fame, yes.
He was pretty big in the Jersey Boys. I'd totally forgotten about that picture and that we met him. That's where my brain is these days.
That was and when you texted me that, my first recollection, and I don't have the greatest memory in the world, was he made a fortune on Home Shopping Network selling this cream, this pain cream that featured the magical drug capsaicin. And I'll never forget capsaicin because of Frankie.
That's right. Oh, good. And he looked great, didn't he? He was like 100 years old. Look at him. He's unbelievable. All right. So we need a bounce back. And I think the last time we talked, I was a little concerned about the offense. And I'm still a little concerned about the offense. So far, 3 weeks in, I guess, 3 weeks in, what are your thoughts on this team overall? Pluses and minuses.
Given the fact that you can never predict injuries, I think things are pretty much as I expected, except for the fact that I think coming in, you looked at the first 7 games of the schedule and you said, Baltimore, Oakland, there's a really good chance we'll be 6-1 going on the road to Chicago for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, we lost 3 or 4 to Oakland. That's what really hurts.
Yeah.
Losing 2 or 3 to the White Sox is not the worst thing in the world. We won 2 or 3 in Chicago, so going 500 on a road trip is pretty much what every good team game plans for. If we can stay 500 on the road and win, dominate at home, then we're a playoff team. And the Rays have always been better than that, let's face it. And the expectations are they'll be better than that down the road. But losing 3 or 4 to Oakland was a bit of a setback, and the injuries were a setback. And I think last night was a perfect example of what has always been the case with the Rays, but right now in a vacuum is more critical than ever. The Rays who are healthy need to play their very best for the Rays to win. Josh Fleming, although all 7 runs that were given up were unearned and he didn't pitch terribly, certainly gave up a bunch of hits that we're not used to seeing. So Josh Fleming not being at his best hurts the Rays. That's loss instead of a win.
Yeah.
Things like that, hopefully they don't add up cumulatively too much and we don't dig ourselves a hole that you can't get out of. But you have to remember, and I'm not talking to you, JP, you know this, but Rays fans in general have to remember the Rays were around 500 last May. The middle of May, the Rays were 500, and they won 100 games. So there is still a lot of meat on the bone.
Yeah, this organization has really shown the ability to be to get better as the season goes on. I think that just it helps with their analytics approach. I think they start seeing patterns that they can take advantage of. Right, every year is different. Every team is different. And they find out which guys in this iteration of the Rays team fit best in certain places. Right now, Josh Lowe is struggling. I think everybody expected him to be a little better when he came up, but also he's a rookie, and this is what typically happens. So I think he may have to go back to AAA. We don't know, but as you said, this team usually figures it out, and they have some options here. And
they do. Yeah. And the one thing I would say, and I'm not trying to be a Rays apologist, if you watch every at-bat that Josh Lowe has, yes, he's struggling. I mean, there's no 2 ways about that. He's struggling getting under the Mendoza line. But I've seen a number of balls that he has hit right on the screws, that he squared up. Last night I saw it too. And you're not going to say, what's the big deal if he hits a fly ball out? He's got warning track power. Well, that's not quite the case. Again, this is his first time seeing these pitchers, just like it's the pitcher's first time seeing him. He is not an otherworldly type player. Not every rookie is Wander Franco. Wander Franco has a learning curve that is unlike any I've seen this side of maybe Mike Trout, where, and by the way, I look back at Mike Trout's first 83 games compared to Wander, and Wander's numbers are better across the board. That's another conversation for another time. But Josh Lowe will be fine. It's just it would be a lot easier for Josh to acclimate himself without all the eyeballs staring at him if the rest of the team was hitting well. Right now, it feels like Wander and Gian are the only 2 guys that are hitting well. Brandon Lau got a couple knocks last night. We all know how streaky he could be. So maybe all of a sudden he's going to go on a tear. and then you have three guys right in the top half of your lineup who are raking, things are going to turn around quickly if that's the case.
Rich Hollenberg joining us here, Bally Sports Sun Rays host. I think one of the other big headlines has to be the pitching of Shane McClanahan. Now, we all expected him to be a good pitcher. We expect him to be a number one. I don't know if I've expected him to be this good. And I know the numbers may not show it out right now, but every time he's taken the ball, his stuff has been electric. Last time I got the win, but if this guy continues to pitch like this, the Rays are going to have a good season because obviously they have a lot of good arms and they can mix and match. But that you got to have that guy at the top of the rotation, and he has proven it right now. Your thoughts?
I agree, and to take it a step further, knowing full well that how we all do, how the Rays, usually play against the grain and find success that way. To have an ace like that, the Rays had it last year in Tyler Glasnow. How quickly we forget. He was, on the short list of Cy Young candidates before he got hurt. So now the Rays are back and feeling good, like they have, a front line, top of the rotation guy. We brought up on the pregame show last week when the Rays were kind of forced into, mixing and matching and using an opener regularly again, how when you look at the Rays record, and obviously last night was, more of an exception and a rule, but I believe going back to 2021, JP, now after last night's loss, I want to say their record is something like 17-6 when they use an opener. Yeah. I mean, that is a ridiculous winning percentage. So you take that opener starter and you say, okay, if that's your number 2 or your number 3 starter and you're 17-6 over the last 2 seasons with that quote unquote starter, now you almost have not just one ace in Shane McClanahan, you have 2 aces.
Yep. And
then you throw out Corey Kluber, who all indications are he's good and probably going to get a little bit better. Then you have a 1-2-3 that I would match up with anybody's 1-2-3 in the American League. Things don't look all that bad.
No, really don't. And, those were a little wild card in there of Ryan Yarbrough, who's, battling that groin injury. He looked really good in spring. And if we can get him back to that level, and we know been enough to pitch this league, that would be huge as well. I think the pitching is good hands, and we haven't even mentioned Rasmussen, who's been good as well. At least shown good stuff. So I think the pitching will just be fine. And let's say a little something about the bullpen as well. Kittredge is just he's freaking lights out. I mean, lights out.
I referred to him as Benjamin Button. He's going to be 32 in a week or so, and he seems to be getting younger the older he gets.
Yeah,
he is unbelievable. The deception, the whip that he has on his fastball, the late movement that he has. And again, the Rays are very hesitant to put labels on people. They don't want to call Shane McClanahan their ace.
Yep.
They don't want to call anybody their closer.
Right.
But AK looks as close to a closer as I've seen. And I'm not just saying on the Rays roster. I'm saying it in baseball right now. He is locked down, lights out at the back end of the bullpen. It's just that the Rays look at the 7th and the 8th and the 9th and say, okay, what is our most high leverage moment?
Right.
That's when we'll go for Andrew Kittredge. We're not going to wait until the 9th, because if it's the 7, 8, 9, that's not high leverage enough.
Exactly.
We want to put him in when it's part of the order for the opposition. If that happens in the 7th and it's a close game, then that's when Kitty's going in. If it's the 8th, so be it. And they know that they have this fortress of other arms around him that will be able to get the job done if their number is called in the 8th or the 9th inning. They're not looked at to be the hammer or the closer. They're just looking to get 3 more outs. Devon always says, all we're looking to do from inning 1 to inning 9 is we're banking 27 outs. That's the goal.
Yeah, and it's when you think back on the traditions of baseball and how things have always been managed, and then you pick that situation out and you're like, yeah, why haven't people been doing this for a long, long time? That's makes way more sense than just the final 3 outs. I get those are always hard, but again, to your point, if it's a 7, 8, 9 hitter, no, it's not as it would be much. The high leverage is when 1, 2, 3 come up.
Right.
I got to ask you about this. What type of sorcery or whatever the voodoo doll crap going on here with the Mariners and the Rays. I mean, these Mariners are just ordinary to everybody else, but to us, they're the 27 Yankees. What the hell?
It's funny. I said this last night on the show, JP, like as far as not being able to figure them out, and I'm only going back to last year because for a couple of years, there were some lean years out in Seattle, but they were the sneakiest, under the radar, 90-win team that you'll find in Major League Baseball. They won 90 games last year. They were not a bad team. So when you look at it through kind of a wider lens and you say, oh my God, the Rays got swept in Seattle last year. Well, the Rays have a history of not really playing all that well on the West Coast. That's not an excuse, but 3 of their 4 losses were walk-off losses. So that tells me they were in every game. They had a chance to win every one of those games, maybe except one of those 4. So they had a chance to win 3 of the 4 games. Then you come back to, to Tampa Bay and you play under the roof at Tropicana Field and you're thinking, okay, now it's payback. We'll take at least 2 or 3, if not sweep. And they took from us. That's what really hurts. Again, going back to you have to be a 500 ball club on the road, and then you have to hold serve at home.
Yep.
The Rays didn't either against Seattle last year. And obviously last night being what it was, it's not off to a great start this year. But you know what? Sometimes you look at a schedule and you say, not feeling great about rolling and knowing how much better the Mariners got this year than they were last year. Kyle Seager retired. He was a mainstay for them. I get it. But they added some pieces, and Ty France is every bit an all-star, young guy in their organization. They are a solid team. There's not a lot of weakness 1 through 9 for them. And their pitching, while not as good as the Rays, is not bad enough to lose them a bunch of games. They'll be in almost every game.
All right, my friend, tell us what for tonight's big show. We got another one with the Mariners.
Yeah, tonight's going to be fun. Drew Rasmussen is getting the start. So it'll be interesting to see. We need a little bit of a rebound. He had a little bit of a hiccup on the road there. But again, in terms of efficiency, I'm really looking at Drew Rasmussen to set a tone for tonight. So Doug's going to be on with me, and we're going to be talking a lot about that. We'll talk also about JP Crawford. He's one of those guys that not a lot of people talk about around the league. He's hitting 350 right now. Yeah. He was an all-star caliber shortstop last year for Seattle, and he crushed the Rays. So we're going to be talking a little bit about him. And then I'll dangle a carrot for you because this might be one of the more interesting trivia questions. But going back, I want to say it's 4 years. It might even be 5 at this point. Who has the most home runs in baseball? And someone playing in this game tonight is the answer to that trivia question. And I'd give most people a good amount of to guess who that player is, and I don't think they would get it. So we'll be talking about that player tonight on the pregame show.
All right. Nicky Numbers has a very curious look on his face. He might know. All right. He knows all numbers. All right, my brother. Appreciate your time as always. We'll catch up soon. Thanks, Rich. The great Rich Hollenberg.
All right, JP. Thanks for that.
On Twitter at Rich on Sports. All right, quick break. When we come back, Brian Bradley's going to join us. We're going to talk some Lightning as they are on a freaking roll. The boys last night get another big win, 4-1. Stay with us. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stuff?
Back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center in our second hour. The law offices of Christopher Palermo. All right, let's chat with our great friend Brian Bradley, former Lightning All-Star, leading scorer, joining us right here. What's up, my friend? How are you?
Good, JP. How are you doing today, buddy?
Celebrating another Bolts win last night, 4-1. Have you ever seen a line or a player hotter than Steven Stamkos in his 14th year? My Lord.
No, you know what? I mean, what really amazes me most of like his, you know, he scored 50 goals. He's got 60 goals. I mean, Austin Matthews got 60 last night. But one of the things that really I found fascinating was Steven Stamkos has never got 100 points in the NHL. I thought for sure he would have one of those years, but he hasn't. So for him to get 4 points last night, get 100 points, he's got 101. I mean, he's playing amazing. I mean, it's unbelievable. And you know what? What is it? The first time since Yuri Curry in 92, 93, where a player has got 5 games in a row with 3 points or more.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a Hall of Fame resume. I mean, you know what? For all the stuff he went through and he missed the playoffs in the bubble, I mean, happy for Stammer. He's a great captain, great leader. I mean, playing unbelievable right now. And I mean, remember we talked about this a year or two ago? They were talking about maybe trading him. I mean, are you kidding me? Kidding me?
Yeah, this has been a renaissance for this guy, and baby, we all knew that he was dealing with injury the past few years. I mean, it's a broken leg, you know, he had the pulled oblique or core injury, and maybe it's just, you know, we just didn't realize how bad it was. Now this is the real Steven Stamkos. He's been healthy for a whole season, and he's just blowing people away. He looks like he has an extra burst in his speed. I mean, is this just all about him being healthy finally?
Yeah, you know what? He looks really good. I mean, you know, he came into the year trying to go to the Olympics and playing well. And you know what? You talk about someone that just picked it up and has been consistently all year long as the captain, number 91, Steven Stamkos. He's been fantastic. I mean, and the numbers over the last, 2 weeks ago, he had 80 points. 80. I mean, it's a long way from, that's 20 points.
Yeah.
He's got to get to 100. And he's just blowing it right off the top. So, I mean, he's as hot as you can get right now. And you know what? Here's the thing. We need to play him, but do we play him Friday or do we start resting guys if we clinch third place? Because, you know, we got to get ready for Toronto because that game's probably going to happen on Monday in Toronto. see what happens from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And what have you noticed about this power play as well? I think they've gone from being ranked 15th or 16th in the league to 8th now. It just, I mean, obviously it was a matter of time before they just started clicking again. But have you noticed anything different in the power play?
Well, I don't know if I noticed anything different in the power play. It's just, you know what, they're focused now. I mean, when we talked about this team 2 weeks ago, they were lackadaisical. There was no energy. They were playing with emotion. You know, you've got to go out there with intensity to get ready for the playoffs. Well, you know what? They turned it on in the last 3 games. When they beat Toronto 8-1, they've been a totally different team now. Like, now going into the Stanley Cup playoffs next week, even though we're number 2, 3 seed against Toronto, we're still going to be the favorite because we're starting to play at the right time. And you know what? Vazzy's coming together. The defense is playing good. The Florida game I was at on Sunday, we executed and beat them 8-4. It wasn't even close in Florida. So, I mean, we've got a chip on his shoulder. You know, Kucherov's playing hard. Points got a goal. Platt scored. Love Pallone. I mean, defensively, we were playing good. Sergachev had a great fight against Sam Bennett.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a good fight. But, I mean, overall, I thought Elliott played good the other night, the backup goalie. And Vazzy, you know what? This is a team that's coming together. You know what, JP? At the right time.
Yep. So that you were at that game in Florida. What it seemed to me that I don't know if it looked like to you, but I expected the Panthers to come out with a huge push in the third period. They're down a couple goals, and it was a Lightning that turned up the heat and the intensity, and it looked like we almost wore them down. They were trying to fight. They were trying to do this, trying to do that. It seemed like we really frustrated them in that matchup. Your thoughts?
Well, you know what? I just think we were up 3-1 and 3-2, then they tied it, and then we went ahead. And then once it got to like 7-8-4, the game was pretty well over. Panthers tried to get a little chippy. It was in the game. I knew the game wasn't going to be like a playoff game because Panthers were in number 1 seed. You know, there's not a lot. They won 13 games in a row, so there wasn't a lot for the Panthers to play for. We're still fighting Boston for 3rd seed, which we want, you know, at the end of the day. So I get it, what was going on. I mean, it'll be a totally different game when we play them in the second round, like we did last year in the first round. But, you know, like I said, I would just wish Chernak would have got a hold of Lombard, number 94, and just give him a good beat, because I hate that guy. He's so runs around and chippy and just plays the role. I don't even know if he's that tough, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Hope Tom Wilson knocks him right out.
Yeah, well, we shall see, right? As the Panthers will go up against a very physical Washington team, so that's no gimme there. What do you think of the matchup? It looks like it's going to be Toronto with the home ice advantage over the Lightning. What do you think about that matchup if that comes to be? It looks probably about 95% certain at this point.
I like it. You know what? I mean, you know, they're two skilled teams, but I think the way we play, we have to play a physical game like we talked about before, JP.
Yeah.
When we try and run and gun with Toronto, it just doesn't work. They've got a lot of skilled players that can play, and that's the game they want. When you get in the playoffs against Toronto, you've got to be physical. You've got to make them pay. And, you know, we did that when we beat them 8-1. We were a totally different team than we played them a few games earlier with beat us 5-2. Obviously, Matthews and Marner, you got to be physical against. You know, they're going to be physical against Stamkos, Point, and Kucherov, but we've been there, done that. Toronto hasn't won a playoff series since 2004. So let's be honest with you. They don't know what it takes to win right now. So goaltending's young. Jack Campbell hasn't did a lot. We got Vazzy in net. I like our defense better. Is it going to be an even tough, like, it's going to go 6, maybe 7, but I still think we're favorites, and I like us winning in 6. That's my prediction.
Yeah,
Tampa 6 at home.
I love it. No, I'm with you on that one. I'm definitely going to call that the same myself. And you know, I look and the fact that Toronto's done nothing in the playoffs forever, does that have any bearing at all on this? When you have a team like the Lightning that are so experienced, and then and you could speak to this, the pressure on these Toronto teams to perform in the playoffs, and it just seems that they never live up to their regular season accolades.
JP, I couldn't agree more 100%. The problem is with Toronto, and this is why I like it. we're going to play games 1 and 2 at home. Well, let me tell you, the pressure for the Toronto Maple Leafs, I played there for 2 years.
Exactly.
There's going to be so much pressure and people looking at them saying, oh, they're going to choke again. They're playing the defending Stanley Cup champs.
Yep.
If we win game 1, oh my God, there's going to be so much pressure. They have to win game 2 or this is over.
Yeah.
The Tampa Bay Lightning know how to play. They did it before. I mean, they've won 2 Stanley Cups, so they have some different players, but I like Nick Paul and Brendan Hagler playing good and Ross Colton are contributing. So, I mean, you know what? This is going to be interesting to see how game 1 goes because it's all the pressures on Toronto. They must win game 1
Right. Yeah.
or they are in a big time problem against the Tampa Bay Lightning. And you know what? Let's see, because they usually can choke with the best of them. The Leafs. Like last year in the playoffs, Matthews and Marner played 7 games and had 1 goal between them.
I know.
One.
And with
That's not going to do anything in the Stanley Cup.
And with Matthews
Playoffs.
getting 60 goals this year, it's going to be hyped up even more, right? It's going to be hyped up even more. The expectations will be even higher. And they're going to, it's hard not to press in that situation as a player, right?
Yeah, you're good. They have to press.
Yeah.
They've got to just go out there and try and find a way to win a game, especially game 1, because people are going to be talking about it all in Toronto and on the media. And, you're listening to talk shows. If Toronto and Tampa play, even though Toronto had a better season, who do you think the favorite? I guarantee you, I've seen a few shows today. Everybody's taking Tampa in that first round. I think because the experience in Toronto's never won. So, I mean, you can't say just because we're all going on the road, we'll be ready to play. Trust me. And I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm looking forward to these playoffs, and I think also that we've seen a better Vasilevsky in the past few games. Would you agree? I think the rest that he's gotten has helped him, and I think he's dialed in for the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. I think the key game was the Toronto game. I mean, he just turned the corner. He was battling some stuff before that, and the whole team was, and then they just changed it around and they played the way they had to against Toronto and beat them 8-1, and then they've been snowballing. They just building it now, and Kucherov looks great. Stamkos, my God, on fire. Point scored a goal the other night, but Edmund's amazing. But those are the guys that make the team go. And you know what? When you got those guys producing, man, I'll tell you, we just get a couple chip-in goals from the second, third, and fourth line with those other guys playing. It's going to be hard to beat because you're not going to put 4 or 5 goals against Vazzy every game. No. He's going to win a game by himself in the series. We'll win 3-1 because Vazzy stops 42 shots and we get 22. He's going to do that. He's that good a goalie.
Yep, I agree. Looking forward to it. All right, Brad's great stuff, my friend. I guess I will see you next for game 3 of the playoffs.
Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah, next week sometime, I guess. We'll find out when the schedule comes out, when we play, who we play. Some great games on line tonight in the East and West.
Yep.
Hard to believe there's going to be 8 teams in the Eastern Conference playoffs that all have 100 points or more. That's incredible. It's never been done.
Yeah. Yeah, this East is going to be a gauntlet to get. You get through the East, may not have anything left for the Western champions. We shall see, though. All right, Brad, good stuff, man. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks, man.
Go Bolts. Have
go
a good day.
Bolts. Yeah, I love the matchup with Toronto. It could not be better. Eventually you got to go through the best. So if we get, and I think if Washington and Florida play, watch out. That Washington's the type of team that will frustrate Florida.
Well, they got to get Ovechkin back because he's been out.
That's right. Is he going to be back for the?
He's day-to-day right now, but I don't know if you got a chance to see it.
Oh, I saw it. It's very Pointer-esque.
Yeah,
just like
it
Pointer
didn't look great, but
that's
a guy who's I don't think he's going to sit for a playoff game. He's going to give it every. He's not going to Ben Simmons it. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, think. Yeah, because first of all, he's a hockey player. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about John Morant's night. Oh my God, that was incredible. The man in the arena as well is out, so we'll talk about that. And the Bucs have just made a move of sorts, and it's a big one, sort of, kind of, teasing. Back in. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home. Get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Our second hour brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center. You're looking for a new physician, primary care physician. Why not check out Bay Area Modern Medical Center? Christopher Lugo, military medic himself, works with some of our top pilots, and we're going to have him on the show to talk about good nutrition, exercise, all that good stuff. We had him on last month and really, really informative about COVID and everything else. So we'll have him on again, and you guys can get an idea of what it would be like to have him taking care of your health care. One of the things they really like to do is have a personalized approach for everybody. It's not a one-size-fits-all. They look at your blood work, look at your exercise, look at the shape you're in now, get you a good exercise routine, good nutrition, all that stuff, preventative medicine. So when the next pandemic rolls in, as predicted by many, you will be well-equipped and have a very robust immune system. So Bay Area Modern Medical Center, it's a new edge, new modern techniques, new modern philosophies. That's why they call it Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. All right, let's hit some Bucs news here. They have picked up the 5th-year option on Devon White's contract, which is, $11.5 million next year. And Tom Brady's new deal, which basically allows him to become a free agent at the end of the season. If he wants to go play in Miami or San Francisco, whatever he wants to do, he's free to do so. And the cap hit for the Bucs next year, dead cap, will be $35.1 million in 2023. So, folks, enjoy this season with Tom Brady and this loaded Buccaneers team, because the rebuild is coming. And it's going to be in 2023 with probably a quarterback by the name of Kyle Trask or Blaine Gabbert at the helm, or maybe they'll draft somebody. Who knows? And who cares? All I care about is this season. You know, it's one of the things I hate about in sports talk radio and a lot of the talk shows, and you get this a lot in the NBA, is they constantly talk about where players are going. I remember watching the finals last year in the middle of a great finals, and all the talking heads are like, where's this guy going to go? Where's this guy going to go? What's his next contract move? What is this contract move? It's like, who freaking cares? Let's stay in the present. Let's stay in the now. And I really don't give a rat's ass who the Bucs' next quarterback is, to be honest with you. I mean, obviously, they have made choices in the last 3 years with Brady to push everything down the line and bring in as many good players as they can and try to win now. That's what I want. That's what I want my organization doing. Win now. I'm not about building up prospects for the future. There'll be a time for that. But now is clearly not that time. And this draft should have that in mind.
The Bucs have had plenty of time to do that before. And where did it get you?
Yes.
Okay, let's be real here.
Great point.
Let's be real here. We spent 15 years trying to rebuild. Let's just say it. The Bucs are not good at drafting a quarterback.
Finding a quarterback.
Never have.
Well, they've drafted more Super Bowl winning quarterbacks than any franchise.
Yeah, none of them played for them.
None of them played for the Bucs when they won it. Nope.
Yeah, I have no interest in playing future game for the Bucs. How that play out. When you go all in the league, look around the league. The Rams.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about picks.
Nope.
I mean, that's
not when you get to that point.
That's quote from their GM.
Yeah.
They don't
F
care. F the picks.
Well, I think that's the new template now is you have to, when you go through your rebuild or whatever it is, you've got to draft Aaron Donalds. But they went out and got a Jalen Ramsey. You got to build through the draft to a certain core and then go out and make the moves to get those players that you're deficient at and get over the top. And that's what they did. Yeah, that's what the Bucs did with Brady.
And the only way it works the other way at the moment is like Cincinnati, where you get two generational players at the two most important positions.
Yep.
And it works out your way. But that's not every day going to happen. So, the Bucs,
draft really has to fall your way for that to happen. You got to be smart. And
when you got Tom Brady at 44, going on 45 years old, whatever it is, as your quarterback, you ain't doing anything for the future.
Right.
It's just the way it is. When you have a GM like Jason Licht, who's been here for 8 years now, I believe, and has seen it already. When you have a coach like Todd Bowles, who's trying to maximize this roster, as Bruce Arians gave him the reins, he ain't looking for the future. So whatever happens after, listen, the Bucs won a Super Bowl. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares what happens?
It doesn't matter.
You could go back into 15 for all I care. You gave me the Super Bowl.
Yeah, which is what they did with Gruden. They gave up 2 1s and 2 2s, and they paid for it for the next 10 years. Because if you have to, if you give away those picks, you got to be spot on in your drafting in the other ways, and they were anything but.
But I don't think it's going to be that severe this time as it was with the Gruden era. Because I think
we didn't give up the picks.
Yeah, but I think
first and foremost,
the front office was a mess at the time.
Sure.
Whoever you had as a GM, whoever Gruden, whatever, not agreeing with the GM philosophy.
Well, Gruden was the GM.
Yeah.
De facto GM.
Usually doesn't work.
Bruce Allen was just a figurehead.
Which doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work.
They've established a better culture now that can last longer. It won't be as severe, I don't think.
No. It's interesting. We talk about getting those young quarterbacks and getting the great Joe Burrow and getting you to a Super Bowl. But when you look at the guys that are winning Super Bowls, it's Patrick Mahomes was young when he won his Super Bowl, 26. But the guys that are winning them, Matthew Stafford, Tom Brady, the Mannings, Roethlisberger, these are older guys that they'll win it. But in Brady's case, he wasn't making a crap ton of money. So it's weird. Like right now, I don't think it's ever been more in flux on how to win a Super Bowl. I think you can do it a lot of different ways. But the bottom line is, Brady skews all templates because he just freaking has won so many of them.
Yeah. And I told you, by the way, you got to watch The Man in the Arena.
Yeah.
The episode 10, which
without being spoiler.
Yeah.
What can we glean from that? Like, just philosophically tell us what you learned.
You learn, I think, in this episode more about Tom Brady, the child, and the relationship with his dad. His dad is one of the guests on here, and I'll just say he gets very emotional. If you want to see the real Tom Brady come out, first 5 minutes, bang. And he even mentions it like, holy shit, like here I go right away. It's very emotional in the beginning, and it ends very emotional. And it's mostly, a recap of last year, what happened, behind the scenes a little bit, the story of how Gronk came out of retirement, which you all can watch for yourself because it's kind of a different thing.
Does it go into how sick his mom and dad were? They had like
That was
bad battles with COVID.
That was his dad. He mentions his dad, who had COVID, and I think he said it's been 18 days in the hospital with it.
Yeah.
And Tom was all the way here in Tampa, and that was out in LA. So his sisters were having to take care of him. The mom was covered in, I think, 2 episodes prior.
Yeah.
That was during the 28-3 game.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's right. So he's had some issues with his parents, but definitely a must watch for Buck fans.
It is a must watch. And if you want to get the mentality of Tom Brady and why he's wired the way he is, it started as a kid, and there's some great insight there from his dad. And Gronk's also a guest as well. So you get what happened with him last year when he was struggling with the Bucs, what was going through his mind. Very good look, and to me, a very great series. Even if you're not I told you at some points it could kind of feel like it's just a Patriots documentary.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, hell, he was there for 20 years.
Right.
But still, you learn a little bit more about Brady every single day. And it's the only avenue that you usually hear him kind of come loose a little bit.
Right.
The media, he's usually very.
Yeah, because all he does is Zoom. With the media and his own podcast. The only thing he really does, and he's very much controlled the narrative. I mean, as a member of the media, you don't like that. You want to be able to have some access and ask tough questions and maybe go some places that he doesn't want to go on his own. That to me is more revealing. But I understand when you have the power of Tom Brady and in the cancel culture that we live in, you have to be very, very careful of how you disseminate your media.
Oh,
if you can control it, you should control it.
I tell you, the episode to watch is that 28-3 episode. The episode after, remember when the whole Guerrero thing was going on?
Yeah.
He was being kicked off the sideline by Bill and all that.
Yeah.
And I told you my favorite quote from the whole thing so far is, we live in a day and age where everybody thinks they got to know everybody's business and their opinion on stuff.
Yeah.
And he says, in my opinion, no, you effing don't.
Yeah.
You don't need to know my opinion on everything and what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And that's Tom Brady right there. And that's why he is his way with his media. He wants to control it.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, as a media training person, that's what I would tell you to do. Try to control all of your media if you can. As a member of the media, when I wear that hat, I want to do exactly the opposite. Yeah. I want to try to get into some places that you probably don't want to go, because that I think is more revealing and I think it's more interesting to the fans. But I mean, as a Buck fan, do you get a lot of inside, scoop on what was going on as a Buccaneer?
Yeah, you definitely do. You recall they focus a lot about the Saints last year.
Yeah.
If you recall the 3 games that they had, the trilogy, in the first 2 games, how it went, how it was so sideways. There's a lot of that, and Drew Brees in there and everything. So
interesting.
All the behind the scenes of the season, what was going on, Brady learning a new offense for the first time in 20 years. And I love, they have Max Kellerman, his sound from saying Brady's done and he regrets this decision. It's all the ESPN heads who were all overreacting last year.
Yeah.
And it's all in the background, and Brady's just laughing to the basically. So it's a great little trip down recent memory lane to see how the behind the scenes of a Super Bowl. So I do recommend.
All right. I will be watching that at some point today. No doubt about it. Ja Morant last night. I know the Pelicans had to select Zion Williamson, but they have to have a little bit of remorse, because this Ja Morant is the shiz. He is. Last night at the end of the game, first of all, he had the dunk of all dunks that I've seen in the playoffs in a long time. That was a tomahawk over, who was it, Michael Beasley, that poor fellow? Good.
Beasley.
Oh my
Our
God.
FSU boy.
Oh, that was awful. But it was dramatic. It was game turning. The T-Wolves were up 16 points last night, and Karl Anthony Towns was giving him the shh, right? In the NBA, bro, come on. And then he scored the last 13 points for the Grizz, and in the last minute he hits a huge 3-pointer. He shows the versatility of his game. First of all, the most athletic, explosive dunk I've seen in the playoffs in forever. Then he comes back with a clutch 3 and a deep 3. And then with the game on the line, this scoop shot that he is kind of his trademark with his hang time is just unbelievable. For the win, by the way. Here we go.
Brooks, toss it. Morant drives. Morant. Oh, it's good. 1 second left. Ja Morant with the bucket.
Yeah, unbelievable.
A gutty Grizzly win. Come from behind at home. And
yeah,
that move. It's very reminiscent of the Jordan move where he switched hands He goes up. I forget who the defender, much bigger defender. He goes up and the defender goes up with his initial move, and then he ducks under, and then with the left hand scoops up and under. I mean, that's midair change of body position that you can't. That's unguardable. That's unguardable. You have to foul a guy dramatically to guard that play. That's otherworldly.
Yeah,
that's Jordan-esque.
Yeah, he's a building block in this league. A Memphis team that was in a rebuild. Obviously, they didn't have the second overall pick for no reason. And within 2 years, I mean, what were they? The 2 seed?
Yeah.
This year?
Yeah.
The 2 seed in the
They went
West.
18-2 without him.
I mean, yeah, it's not just John Morant, but obviously every night he's doing something crazy to steal the show. Love his mentality, by the way.
Yeah.
He's a star in this league, and the NBA playoffs continued. I don't think they're disappointing at all.
No, we've got some really good series. Miami, they were just they ousted Atlanta last night. They're just
Trae
too good.
Young, I don't know what the hell.
You know,
everybody's saying like he's got to be hurt or something.
Yeah, he doesn't look right. He does not look right.
Yeah.
Golden State can close it out tonight over Denver, which I think they will. Milwaukee up 3-1 on Chicago, and I can't believe this still happened. It's happening to the Rays as well.
Wow.
COVID, really? Zach LaVine is going to be out tonight because of COVID. Come on, seriously? We're still doing this?
I hate it. Come on. I have no idea. We have no idea if he's actually if he feels sick or what. I have no idea. But you have to feel for Bulls fans. I mean, they don't have much chance in the series to begin with, but now it's
LaVine and Caruso are out.
Yeah, Caruso's in concussion protocol, but they got no chance. They had no chance from the jump.
Yeah.
And my Pelicans, man, Oh, damn.
What? I told you the Suns were going to win the series.
They were close last night. They made it close.
Chris Paul is dealing.
Chris Paul stepped up last night.
And what's the other guy? Payne.
Campaign.
Yeah. They found some scoring. They're just too good of a team. They're too good of a team. But Booker's who they got in the second round now? Who are they going to get? We don't know yet.
Is that the 1 and the 8, right?
Yeah.
So they would get the 4 and 5.
Yeah.
Who's the 4 and 5? That's Dallas and Utah.
Yeah.
So they should get the winner of Dallas and Utah.
And Luka's back doing Luka things.
Yes.
So he's just abusing. His game is so funky. It's so fun. It's not explosive in the least at all.
Well, it's kind of like watching Jokic. You're asking yourself, how the hell does this guy do this?
Well, at least with Jokic, his ridiculous size, and he's got great skill. Luka's, I mean, he's a big guy, but not to Jokic standards. He kind of reminds me of Larry Bird. He's Larry Bird. Yeah, right. Yeah. He's a killer. It's not an explosive game. He ain't jumping out of the gym, but he can shoot, pass, every great IQ, just phenomenal player. Love watching him play. But right now, I have to say Golden State is the best team and obviously they have great experience. They have great finishers, which is what it takes at the end of the games. I don't see anybody beating Golden State. So they stay healthy.
Yeah, I think they're the favorite in the West. The East is so up in the air, I think. But I think every team, like Boston, for example, has looked the most impressive, I'd probably say.
Yeah, I would say the Celtics are the team to beat, but how did you count Miami out?
But Miami's just kind of quietly gone about their business.
Yeah.
And they're deep. We know they're coached by one of the best in the league in Eric Spoelstra.
Yeah.
That's
a thing. That's a thing.
But Milwaukee at the same time, I mean, how can you count out Milwaukee? Milwaukee just won the chip last year, and Giannis, to me, is...
What's up with Middleton?
I think...
They ain't win without him.
I don't know. I think
they're not winning without him. No,
I still think they can win the East without him.
No, not when they get to the final.
Maybe not the final,
four,
but
yeah.
I think they can get to the final without him.
No, I don't think so. I think the Celtics are good, and Miami, they were number one for a reason. They win games. They're a tough team. They're going to be a tough out.
They're
You mentioned Spoelstra.
Yeah.
I mean, if Butler keeps scoring like he's scoring,
he's a playoff guy.
Yeah, and he scores like if he's scoring 35 a night, they're going to be a tough freaking out. Defensively, they're fantastic. Out of bio and they're long and again, the coaching matters at this point. It really, really does. So I think that It's going to be tough.
But I love how we're talking about it here. We have like 4 or 5 teams in the East that we could see getting to the final.
Absolutely.
We're not just penciling in Cleveland or Golden State.
And if Booker comes, I want to see Golden State and Phoenix at their best. I want to see I want to see Booker coming back and being at his best. That would be one hell of a series. So yeah, I think that's what the West boils down to.
In the East, and I'm thinking Philly is probably
Philly's out. Forget it.
Philly's
forget
a pretender,
about it.
Right?
Forget about it. Both Embiid's calling out Harden. Harden just doesn't have it anymore. I just don't. I think his game is gone.
He does either.
I just whatever his game was always predicated a lot on how the refs were calling the game. He's getting to the line 15, 20 times a game. I just think that he can't get his shot off the way he used to. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't see it there. And I saw too your boy John Kincaid in Philly, who he put this tweet out, by the way, and it's about Ben Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I have to read it because it's funny.
Okay, please do.
Pull it up here.
And we're gonna finish by talking about this whole topic of player empowerment.
Yeah. The last point here on Ben Simmons. Tiger Woods broke both of his legs, nearly had one amputated, and still came back before Ben Simmons did.
That's priceless right there.
That's the end quote for Ben Simmons.
That is priceless right there. Yeah, I mean, I know mental health is a buzzword for athletes these days, and I get it. But, when we're talking about people that are mental coaches and sports science coaches, or I should say sports psychology coaches, somebody needs to talk to this guy. This is freaking basketball. You're being paid millions of dollars to play basketball. If you can't handle that mentally, I'm sorry.
JP, he said yesterday the mental block was creating the back issue.
Just quit. Just quit. Just quit.
I don't know what you
just
say
quit.
to that.
Just quit. Just quit. Just go away. Just go away. Come on. I mean, we're not. We're supposed to be talking about giving accolades out to some of the greatest athletes, and so much of that is about your mind. You have to be mentally tough to be able to be a man in the arena, to be able to perform in this. You have to be mentally tough, and you are just not. You are not. You're not cut out for it. Just say goodbye. Take your millions and just go into retirement. And we need to stop talking about them, to be quite honest. So I wanted to kind of get into this topic. So Deebo Samuel has come out and said he wants to be traded from the 49ers because he's getting too many carries as a running back. He wants to extend his career. He wants to be paid like a wide receiver. I totally am on board with that. I totally get all of that. But now he's basically saying that he doesn't want to be used too much. He doesn't want to be hit like a running back. And I totally get that. But when you turn on the tape of this guy, and the reason he is so valuable is because you can use him in that way and use him in the short passing game to get the ball into his hands. He's one of the most dangerous players in the league and one of the most versatile. That's why he will make so much money. But you can't demand to be paid $25-30 million a year and then now tell the coaches how you want to be used. I mean, the player empowerment, I get it. You want to be able to move to where you play. But look at LeBron James. LeBron James wants to be the general manager as well, and he wants to trade away assets to bring in a guy that has not won anything. And Russell Westbrook, that was a bad GM decision. And I think Rob Pelinka, left to his own devices, would not have made that move. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so players need to play, GMs need to GM, and coaches need to coach. And now if Deebo Samuel is taking this to the next level where I'm not going to come in and I'm not going to play under the circumstances that you're using me, sorry. We're going to pay you top dollar for a receiver. You're going to play the way we want you to play. Is that not fair? And so guys now are going to start demanding how many touches they're getting on the football field, and we're going to say that's okay? No, that's not okay. You can't coach the team and be the general manager, and you players are meant to play. Look, I get it. If you're taking a pounding, you want to elongate your career. Well, then don't come tell me you want to be paid at the highest level. If you're going to get that much money on the salary cap, it is still a salary cap league, then you're going to have to play commensurate to what we're paying you for. And it doesn't matter. And I do agree. It's becoming more position-less in football. And I know there are categories in terms of franchising that players that get more money than others. It's not a perfect system by any stretch of the imagination. But this whole idea that players can call the shots of personnel and can also now be calling shots of how you're going to be used in certain ways, to me, is just asinine. And I hope that the 49ers and John Lynch, I don't want to say let him get away with this, but they come to an understanding that, look, we'll coach the team. We'll work with your agent to get the contract right. But when you're on the field, you're not calling the shots on how many touches you get. Sorry. And how you get them.
Well, it's the way the league is right now. It's like, I think it's a great point. Like when it comes to especially the quarterback position, like Kyler Murray, which is really relevant.
Yes.
He might not be the best guy maybe upstairs to lead the team.
Yeah.
But he's so damn talented and you need him to win. It's like you got to pay him.
Yeah, to pay him.
It's the same thing with Deebo Samuel. They wouldn't be near as good as they are without him. You kind of like have to pay him, and it's such a hard line it's such a fine line to walk right now.
And this is why, when you're making childish moves by like removing all your social media, all your Cardinal stuff from social media, that's not the way to handle it. That's not leadership. That's passive aggressive bullshit. And you got to be more mature than that. But you're right. I mean, Arizona's in a tough place right now. They have a temperamental leader, and it's not a good look. It doesn't work well within the clubhouse, the locker room. So they got issues. And if Kyler Murray, I tell you, if you get that contract, stop being such a little bitch. Be a leader. Be a leader. Be a man. Stop with the childish social media stuff. You're a hell of a player. You're an incredible player. Just act like a leader, and it'll work out better for you. Ask Tom Brady. Ask Russell Wilson. They can give you some real good leadership on that. All right. Our thanks to Rich Hollenberg, who joined us today, Brian Bradley, and Leo Haggerty as well. If you missed anything, go back and check it out on the app, FanStream Sports. Download it, all one word. Don't forget to follow us on Spotify, follow us on Apple Podcast as well, and on YouTube. Have a great day, everybody.